Hey guys, Biolizard1 here, and today I'm going to bring you another Wi-Fi battle, and this is a hard gold Soul Silver match against Hikari2S in the never used tier. I start off with my Butterfree while he starts off with his Marowak. I just decided to go for a Sleep Powder since Sleep Powder's accuracy is raised due to the compound eyes of Butterfree, and then I expect him to switch out again and go for the Stun Spore, but unfortunately for me that doesn't pay off. Now I predict him to stay in one more time, so I figured, nah, let's get out here and go for a U-turn. So I go for the U-turn, get the hell out of there, and I see that the Ninetales comes in. So I don't really have a counter to Ninetales, but I'm just going sending my Titan, who is my Regigigas, because I think that my Regigigas can stall him out eventually. So my main plan with Regigigas is set up a substitute, set up a Thunder Wave so that he is paralyzed, and then set up a Confuse Ray so that he's both paralyzed and confused, which means that he has 25% chance of breaking through both the confusion and paralyzation hex. So that makes him very unreliable at this point of the match, so that he more often hits himself and gets hurt and gets paralyzed than that he hits me. And during that time I'm going to get my personal act together so that both of my speed and attack are doubled. And as you guys know, Regigigas' attack is really huge, so you don't really want to see a stab return coming off this guy once he got his acts together. So he's going to withdraw, knowing that my turns of counting down my act is going to get lowered and lowered bit by bit, because Regigigas needs 5 turns to get his act together. Now he sends in his Hitmonchan, and I know that either the Mach Punch or Close Combat is coming, so that's pretty good for me because now I can set up another Thunder Wave. But because his Mach Punch doesn't work with regular speed, but because it's a priority and I don't want to lose my Regigigas this early in the game, I'm going to switch out. Even though I got my act together, I don't want my Regigigas to die this early, because I have the perfect counter to this Hitmonchan, which is my Chimecho, and Chimecho is my defensive wall of this team. And as you guys saw, that Mach Punch really did nothing to my Chimecho. So I'm going to set up a light screen, expecting him to bring in a special sweeper, because if a physical sweeper isn't enough to take down my Chimecho, probably a special sweeper is going to step in. So he goes into his Meganium, but Meganium is actually another physical sweeper, so that got me kind of puzzled since most of them are specially orientated. So I switch out into my Ninetales. I know that Ninetales is capable of taking down this Meganium in one hit with a Fire Blast, but unfortunately for me that's not going to happen. Not sure why. Maybe this guy is more bulky than I thought it would be, but my Fire Blast is not going to take him out, which kind of sucks for me. But there is a good side to this downside of not taking him down, because I get the low percentage of burning him, and by burning him that means that his attack is going to drop, and even after a Swords Dance he isn't going to be able to take me down. So expecting him to go for a second Earthquake, I'm going to switch into my Chimecho. Chimecho has access to the Levitate ability, which means that I cannot be hit by Earthquake, so that's really great for me. He then decides to go for a Seed Bomb, but after his burn that is not going to do a lot to me. So I'm going to take this opportunity, set up a Witch, because I know that eventually the burn will take him down, and in the meantime I can set up my screens. So he's going to get hit by burn again, and at that point of health I see that one more burn is going to take him down. So the Wish is going to come through next turn, so that means that all damage I get this turn is going to be nullified anyway. So I'm going to set up my Reflect, since I still have my light screen up. So now I have both screens up and I have my wish fulfilled while his Meganium dies. So that situation is really ideal for me, so I couldn't wish for better things. Now let's see what he sends out next turn after I get some leftovers recovery, because this battle was done quite a while ago. Now he sends out his Haunter, and yeah, I didn't quite know what to expect of Haunter, but I knew the Shadow Ball was too obvious, so I thought, yeah, he's definitely going to go for a Hidden Power Fighting, expecting me to send in my Regigigas, and that prediction really paid off. I stay in due to the light screen and due to the not being super effective move. Hidden Power Fighting does like nothing to me, and I'm going to be able to take him down with a Psychic, so that's extremely good for me. Now he switches into his what's it called, Lapras, and you don't often see Lapras in an ever used metagame because they're pretty fragile, but after seeing that this Lapras has access to the curse, it kind of got me scared here, because after 2 curses a Pokemon is very hard to take down. But in the other hand, I have a plan. Because he uses curse, that means that both his defense and attack are going to be high. But because I'm going to confuse him, when he hits himself in confusion after being confused by my Confuse Ray, he's going to deal more damage to himself due to the fact that he powers up using curse. So I was like, let's confuse him, let's paralyze him, so that he has few chances of getting through my barrier, and then while he is confused and while he's paralyzed, I have the time to get my act back together, and during that time I'm going to try to do as much as damage to himself as possible due to the confusion, and then I'm going to finish it with my stab returns. So that is my plan, that is the thing I mainly focus on at this point of the match. So I'm going to confuse him again, hoping that he will hit himself in confusion this time. But this turned out to be quite a stally part of the match, as you will see right here, and I'm trying to fill this stally part of the match as good as possible by explaining why I did some certain moves. So I'm going to confuse him, and even though he only has 25% chance of using a move, he's not going to be paralyzed nor hit himself in confusion, which is terrible for me actually. And yeah, he's going to get off a curse first and now a body slam, so things aren't going so great for me. And he's going to go for an Ice Shard next turn, still not hitting himself in confusion, and that is going to finish off my what's it called again? Oh my god, my Shift Tree. But now I send in my Brawler. I'm going to go for a high jump kick, knowing that it will do a lot of damage because it's super effective, but I miss, and this time, at this point of the match, Hex is really tearing me apart, and now he's going to break through his confusion again, and he's going to get off a stab waterfall after 2 curses. So I kind of lost 2 Pokemon in the progress, while I should have lost none, and this Lapras is really annoying me. I'm not going to say that it's doing a good job, because what it does is just dodging the paralyzation and the confusion, but in my opinion it isn't the best Pokemon. So yeah, I'm going to go for, he's going to go for another move, go for another curse, and I'm just going to go for a return. I'm going to get as much as damage on him as possible, and finally, after 3 curses and after a whole series of attacks going through the confusion and paralyzation, he finally hits himself one more time. So as long as he is confused and paralyzed, I'm going to spam returns on him, but he snaps out of confusion again, but luckily for me he gets paralyzed. So the entire strategy of getting through this barrier is epically failing for me, and this is the evidence that you should not always rely on Hex when battling an opponent. So I'm going to confuse him again, and again he gets through hit. He goes for a waterfall, but luckily I am pretty bulky, I have max HP, and I thought like I could take this better, but then I saw it was a critical hit, and at this point of the match he is truly hexing me away. First going through the confusion and paralyzation with my Shift Tree, then my Medicham fell down to the ground, hitting so much damage on himself. So like I said, things aren't looking great for me, and I was hoping that I would get a critical hit eventually, but yeah, you will have to see what happens. I finally get my act together. That means that my returns will be doing double the damage, since my attack is doubled right now. So I'm going to go for a return, and yeah, that does a decent amount of damage, which makes me kind of happy, because this Lapras is out on the field for way too long now. So he's going to snap out of confusion again and go for an Ice Shard. But I'm at an amount of health where I can pretty much take the Ice Shard, so I'm going to go for another return. And this is really important for me, because if he gets paralyzation or confusion, or I get a critical hit, this Lapras is done. And I'm so looking for this moment to get this guy done. But he goes for an Ice Shard, and I'm like, damn, this is definitely going to kill me. And it does, so I'm lost my Regigigas and my only hope into winning this battle. But I hope that the Pokemon that I bring in now is going to be enough to finish him off. So I go into my Firefox while he gets a paralyzation, which is awesome for me. So I'm going to go for an energy ball, and I'm crossing my fingers. I hope that my energy ball is going to be enough. Normally it wouldn't be because I ran damage calculations, but I got a critical hit, and that I was so happy at this point that luck finally paid off for me. So expecting him to go for a close combat or a Mach Punch, I decided to go into my Chimecho again, and I thought like, why is this doing so much damage? But it gets another critical hit. So at this point his Hitmonchan was really annoying me, so I didn't want to risk him getting a critical hit again, so I'm just going to go for a stab psychic, I mean, so I think that it's going to do enough damage. While he predicted me to switch out, but obviously I'm not going to switch out, and I saw that this guy has Life Orb, so I know that he's going to go for a Mach Punch now, trying to get as much damage on me as possible. So I'm just going to go for a Wish, knowing Mach Punch will not finish me off. But yeah, this is just epic for me. He gets a paralyzation, which means that I am going to be able to get off another Wish, and I'm going to get off another screen here, and I'm going to get back to full health when my Wish comes through. So that is really epic, and in 2 or 3 turns things are looking good for me again. When that Lapras was up with 3 to 4 curses, things were looking extremely bad, but now things are looking good again. He's going to go into his Marowak, and I'm not really sure if I can take down this Marowak with my Psychics, but they're stab, and I have some AVs invested in special attacks, so I'm just going to risk my chance, go for a Psychic, and it's going to be a 3-8 KO. In the meantime, I just have to hope that this Marowak does not wake up, and it doesn't look like it. He's not going to wake up, while I'm going to recover with my leftovers and finish him off with a 3rd stab psychic. So that's epic. He's only left to 1 more Pokemon, so I'm removed 1 more Pokemon from my victory. So, and that is his Firefox, yeah, I mean his Ninetales if I'm correct. So I'm going to go for a stab psychic, doing as much as damage on him as possible, while he goes for a nasty plot, thinking that he might finish me off, might finish off my own Ninetales. And at a bad moment my light screen wears off, so I wasn't quite happy with that, but I'm just going to go for another Psychic, hoping, just trying to do as much damage on him as possible, while he goes for a Fire Blast. And after a nasty plot, that is definitely going to take a huge chunk out of my hit points. So I'm lost to 1 loss. It's Ninetales versus it's Ninetales and Butterfree versus his Ninetales. So I'm going to go for a stab Bug Buzz, and that's going to finish him off. So I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And see you tomorrow with my new episode of my Pokemon Silver Version Let's Play. So a little more time for my question of the day, and in this question of the day I'm going to ask about your most remarkable encounter with a Pokemon, such as in this battle where Lapras got off so many curses and didn't want to hit himself in confusion, because this was probably for me the most intense moment I ever had, because I couldn't really, I mean the intense moment in Pokemon, that is. I'm not going to spoil anything about my private life. But back to topic. So what was your hardest and most fearful encounter with a Pokemon in Wi-Fi battling, which is kind of comparable to this Lapras encounter that just didn't want to die? So explain and discuss in the comment section below. I'll be happy to read your comments and reply to it, and see you on Thursday on my 2nd episode of the Let's Play. Bye!